everyone, welcome to Jason Explains Things. This video is going to be all about 12-volt accessory wiring on the 3rd Gen Toyota Tacoma. Whether you're trying to clean up existing accessory wiring, like me, or you are trying to start from scratch the right way, this video should be a huge help for you. In the engine bay, we're installing an auxiliary fuse block with a breaker switch, custom mount, waterproof hookups, all the things. It's going to be awesome. And in the bed of the truck, I'm going to go a little step further. I'm going to install a waterproof IP65 rated panel that includes a 12-volt outlet, dual USB charger, and voltmeter. It's going to be really, really sweet. And time is running out for this and a couple other things because in just a few short weeks, I'm taking my Tacoma on the 750-mile-long Oregon backcountry discovery route, so we have a lot of work to get done. All of the parts, tools, and things you see in this video are not sponsored. I paid full price for all of them. If you enjoy this video and my work in general, please support it by subscribing, giving the video a like, commenting, and consider using some links down in the description because I like to list out everything I use. And if you use those links, especially the Amazon ones, hey, that supports me at no extra cost to you. All right, guys, let's get to work. This project has a ton of parts and supplies in it, but here are the big ones I want to highlight. A Blue Sea Systems 12-circuit fuse block, a Blue Sea Systems 100-amp breaker switch, a custom mount for the breaker switch and fuse block from Overland Equipped, so you can cleanly mount all this in the engine bay to stock mounting points. And for that outlet in the bed, I'm using a Blue Sea Systems 4366 panel. And this Rego fabrication panel mount, custom made in the USA for the Blue Sea 4366. I'm going to be using stuff I've used in a ton of previous projects, including marine grade butt connectors, Klein electrical tools, my Milwaukee heat gun, and one cool extra step is I'm going to be labeling all the wiring using an industrial label maker from Brother, with clear heat shrink to make the labels last long term. Currently, I have two light fixtures directly wired to the battery, a front light bar from Cali Raised LED, and a Diode Dynamics flush-mounted pod light that I use as a chase light in my rear bumper. Both have a relay and an inline 30-amp fuse. For both of these existing accessories, I plan to remove the inline fuse, wire to the fuse block with new 30-amp fuses, and label everything clearly so there's no guessing in the future. The new Overland Equipped mount is going to use the two mounting points currently taken up by my light fixture relays. After getting some great advice from my buddy Nate, I decided to create my own custom mount for those relays that will go underneath the new Overland Equipped mount. That way, I'm not just zip tying the relays to random things in the engine bay. Time to practice my CAD skills. All right. I think we got it. I mocked up a simple bracket that would allow me to mount the two relays out of the way and then trace the shape onto some scrap metal. I cut out the general shape with an air saw, smoothed out all the edges with a bench grinder and flappy disc, and then recreated the elongated mounting holes to match the Overland Equipped mount with a step bit and file. And to avoid rust, I painted my new mounting bracket and then drilled and secured two 1/4-20 mounting points with my riv nut tool. Well, it's the next day. I didn't get a ton of my project done yesterday, unfortunately, but we did complete this, which actually I would say, you know, from a distance, you squint, it's not too bad. So even if you don't have a lot of fabricating skills, if you have enough gumption and you're willing to accept, you know, something as a result, if you need something specific, you can make it. So this is cool. Also, I got my dog Toby in the shop with me today. He has not been feeling well. So I'm keeping a close eye on him. So anyway, let's install this and we'll keep going. To keep my little DIY relay bracket from rubbing the paint away here, I decided to add some Gorilla Glue mounting tape. So that should help this stay nice and clean. I labeled the two relays with a paint pen and then mounted them to the new bracket. Before cutting any wiring, disconnect the negative lead to your battery. It's time to adapt the existing wiring to work with the new fuse block. The area the new Overland Equipped bracket will take up is close to the brake system and other components. So I want to make removing it easy when I need to in the future. To do that, I'm using waterproof pigtail connectors for each item I'm wiring to the fuse block. I removed each of the old inline fuses and attached the new male ends of the pigtails using marine-grade butt connectors and plastic flex tubing. The final result is close to OEM quality if I do say so myself. I then used a paint pen to mark the pigtails so I know which attaches to which later on. With all the wiring done in the engine bay, for now, I moved on to connecting the wiring to the fuse block on my workbench. If you've never used the Klein wire stripper or crimper tools, I can't recommend them enough. A friend suggested them to me a few years ago, and I haven't used anything else since. I use marine-grade terminal connectors on 14-gauge wire for the positive and negative leads, and then printed out labels for each wire. The label maker is sweet for jobs like this. Here's my clear tubing. I then covered the label and entire terminal end with clear heat shrink. Again, props to my friend Nate for this suggestion as well. This is the nicest wiring job I've done to date. How you doing, Toby? Oh, buddy. You okay? This guy had a seizure this morning, so keeping a close eye on him. I connected the female ends of the pigtails to the corresponding labeled wires, using marine-grade butt connectors again, along with heat shrink large enough to slip over both wires and the butt connectors. To wrap this step up, I attached the labeled wires to the corresponding circuit and installed two new ATC 30-amp fuses. If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe and leave a comment telling me about your wiring projects on your truck. And big thanks to my channel members for supporting these videos. If you want shoutouts and to get videos early, consider joining as well. Thanks. All right, we got our Blue Sea fuse block with the overland equipped mount and the breaker switch here. I love this. This is actually like some of my better wiring I've ever done. So if you are just interested in the install of this, use the chapter markers down below because I'm going to now temporarily move from installing this to running the wire for the Blue Sea 12-volt outlet and USB panel that's going to go in the bed of the truck. I need to have essentially around 25 feet of wire. So let's prepare that, and then we're going to run it along the frame, first to the engine bay and then to the back of the truck, so I have a lot of slack, and then I will cut it to length once I know what my length is going to be. For the wiring going to the truck bed, I'm using 10-gauge wire rated for both automotive and marine use, along with 3/8-inch flex tubing to protect everything and keep it tidy. At the time of filming, I didn't have pigtails that worked with 10-gauge wire, but I found some on Amazon and I'll link to them in the description. You might be wondering why I'm using 10-gauge wire versus 12 or 14, like the rest of the leads that I'm hooking up. 10-gauge wire provides a safety margin to prevent voltage drop over long distances, ensuring consistent performance. 10-gauge wire also removes any risk of the wires overheating and potentially causing a fire. But the panel only pulls 15 amps, so voltage drop is the main reason in my scenario. This is a common recommendation for installing an outlet to run 12-volt devices like a portable fridge or charging a power station. All right, so we are now underneath the truck. This is essentially right underneath where the driver's side door is. Along here, you can see the factory wire loom, and it actually tucks underneath the frame, goes right there into the engine bay. And you can see actually this wire right here, that's one that I ran when I did the chase light earlier. So essentially we're going to go right next to it. It's a little tough going around the cab mount, but you can do it. I believe in you. Right there, you can see where the wire loom came in right next to the stock one, and also the one that goes to the chase light. All right, so we go around here, and then I attached it to my chase light wiring, and then right there, with a big zip tie, I attached it to all the stock wiring, making sure it's away from that engine because you don't want that stuff to get hot. And then looking down there, you can see the wire right next to the stock one, coming in. Nicely tidy with all the other ones, ready for the fuse block to be installed. I installed the overland equipped mount into the engine bay. I used the two mounting points up top you saw earlier, and one that's kind of hard to get to at the base. And everything will be tightened. I then attached the terminals for the wiring that goes to the bed outlet to circuit 3 on the fuse block, but left the fuse out because that install isn't complete yet. I attached the ground wire to the factory grounding point and the positive lead from the fuse block to the positive post on the battery. We have reconnected the negative lead to the battery, so everything is hot once I flip this breaker switch. The key to be on to do the, yeah. Ho-ho! And chase light. Yeah, I see it. Fantastic. We did it, everybody. We're good to go. All right, we can flip the truck around, start working on the bed. It's another day. Let's finally wrap up this 12-volt project once and for all. I needed to use my truck this morning to go mountain biking because I wanted to do that right early in the morning before it got hot today. I finished the project by just putting the wiring there and then just zip tying it to that. Very professional. Let's actually finish it now. The only tricky part of running wires to the back of your truck is going above the gas tank. This is where the factory loom goes, and I think it's important to match this as closely as possible. After some trial and error, I figured out a pretty easy trick to get this done. You'll need a wire fish rod and some electrical tape. Okay, everybody, I think we got it this time. We're back at that same spot where we started, and I got hung up, but I know now how to fix it. My wire running pole here is getting hung up on the body mount, so I just need to kind of redirect it in this spot back to where it needs to go, which is this direction. Perfect. That should be enough. Yeah. Yeah, boy. That it? I finished running and securing the wiring to other existing wire looms. It was time to mount the new panel in the truck bed. Now there are many ways to do this, including flush mounting it to the truck bed or to the cubby door. It was important to me to have the panel facing up so that it's easy to access and to prevent 12-volt cables from getting broken by them sticking out too far. After testing several install options, including possibly installing the panel inside the storage cubby, I decided to install it in the Rego fabrication housing in this spot above the cubby. To make the install look closer to OEM, I decided to modify the housing. I cut off the ends with a hacksaw and smoothed everything out with a grinder, and then drilled 2 holes that I'll use to mount it to the bed. I used those holes to mark the spot where I'm gonna install 2 riv nuts, and then repainted the housing with AEV's powder coat touch-up paint. While that dried, I drilled the holes in the bed and installed the riv nuts. By the way, the bed must be plastic reinforced with fiberglass because drilling into it irritated my throat pretty bad. I'd suggest using a respirator if you're gonna do this. The last hole was just big enough for the wire loom to pass through and to have a rubber grommet that will hold everything in place and prevent water from getting inside the housing. I installed the housing with silicone sealant around the edges except for the bottom so that any moisture could drain out, and secured it with bolts and lock washers. I wired up the panel and installed it with the included gasket. All that's left to do is to install the 15 amp fuse into the fuse block and test it out. For me, I think this panel is going to work perfectly. When I'm not using it, I'm just going to switch the power off so there is no worry of a power draw. But if you had no truck topper or canopy in the back and you park your truck outside, I would probably not do this. I would find a way to tuck the panel away, maybe inside that cubby with some other custom mount or something like that. My truck is almost ready for the Oregon BDR, but we still have one big project left in this series, which is we're gonna revamp how I'm using my bed rack, make it a lot more useful and efficient. Anyway, if you wanna see that video and the Oregon BDR adventure and all my other awesome content, please consider subscribing, turning on notifications, giving this video a like, commenting, all that good stuff. I really appreciate your guys' support. And last thing I wanted to say is, this video has been filmed over the course of about a week, and it's been a tough week, I'll be honest with you. My dog, Toby, kind of seemed like he might be about to pass away a couple times this week. And the cool thing is that with medication, special diet, and the big guy upstairs, like giving Toby a couple breaks, he's actually doing a lot better. So I'm gonna end this video with some footage of Toby playing because that warms my heart, so hopefully it warms yours too.
Toby, come here. Oh, hello to you. Come here. Oh, it's a good boy. Lay down. Oh, that's very good. Oh, shake? Oh, yes. Good. You want a treat?